So a lot of people have issues on how to determine whether they're taking a good trade or a bad trade. And one of the ways that I tell my members and now you guys how to do it is by actually going through your entries and working it out. Like seeing where you entered, where you should have paid yourself, and where the mistakes get made. So in this video, I'm going to show you in depth exactly how to do that. This is a really important video, and I really hope people pay attention because this type of stuff really is not shared outside of the walls of my service. But I want to show you guys just what type of education that you can receive. So let's get into the charts now, and we are going to dive in. So pay attention. Okay, so you can see the charts here, and one of the trades that we took here was on SPY. Now, SPY is something that we watch all the time, so I'm going to go into a bigger chart, and I'm going to get zoomed in so then you guys can really see this. Okay, so to give you guys a little bit of background, the trade plan was to take SPY short on the pop into 518. Okay, so that's really important. And what you need to understand is Qs had something to do with this as well. Even if Qs wanted to go up a little bit higher, we were protected by this upper level, this 442.07. So there's a lot of protection in this trade. Now, I don't want to get bouncing back and forth, and I don't want to confuse you guys too much. So I really want to stay like right into the point. So I want to get zoomed in on my entries now. Okay, so you can see my entries really well here. So as per our sizing protocol, where people are at, you need to start from square one. So they start with just one contract. Now, obviously, I'm not trading with just one contract, but I'm going to give you an idea. Even though you see my entries here, I want you to think from the perspective of someone that is working a true process. That's where a lot of people fail. They're not following a process. They're just kind of going wherever. And you need to start from square one. And square one is knocking your size down and working on your entries. If you don't do that, you'll never know where your flaws are and where the holes in your game are, so to speak. So with one contract, what I want to point out at the market open, if you follow my cursor, SPY pops directly into this 518. As it comes up, you are waiting nice and close within an acceptable tolerance for SPY to hit this target, okay? To hit that level. So as it comes up, wherever you enter, that's your entry, okay? So let's say you entered down here. Now, if you follow the price point, the price of the premium, we're going to call it $1. That was your entry. That's your average price is $1 because it's going to make it real easy math here, okay? Now, the one thing that I want to point out, when you enter, it is about natural areas of support. That is where you are supposed to pull your profits and pay yourself. Now, when you're only trading with one contract, you can't expect to make some sort of a big home run trade. You pay yourself into that target, and that is it. That trade is done. Okay, and that is very important to remember. So that natural area is right into this. Okay, right into this area here, right where my crosshairs are. So I'm going to draw a level there. So that level is your target from your entry down to there, right there at 517.63, in and around that range, okay? So that's important to understand. Now remember, if we executed at this $1 and we waited to pay ourselves, it should be on this candle right here. You see where all of those payments are? All of my profit taking? So that's what you're looking to get out of this trade. Remember, you're only trading with one contract at this point, okay? It's not about size. It's about working the process. That's what a lot of people, it's very hard for people to understand that at the beginning because they want to make money. It's about the process first. And what I'm trying to teach you right now is the process. So how to determine now where you entered and where you paid yourself, how much you made on that trade. Because the premium is $1, it's very easy math. Now, if you made on that trade anywhere between $6 and about $12, $13, that's perfect. You know you got a great entry and you paid yourself where you should have paid yourself. So if you made under $6, and I'm going to explain here in a second, okay? If you made under $6, I'm okay with people paying themselves early. Where the big mistake is, and this is the key part, if you made over $12 or $13 on that trade, you're holding way too long, and I'm going to show you that that is a major hole in your game. And what happens there, if you are a trader out there right now and you're always telling yourself, man, I always have a green trade and then I let it slip through my fingers. That's what you're doing. You're trying to look for too much instead of paying yourself into direct targets. So when you pay yourself, let's count in, okay? So first candle, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your fifth candle, okay? So that's where your target should be. Now, you could wait a maximum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles right there. So at that seventh candle, that you cannot hold any more than that, okay? If you are, you're holding too long and you're looking for too big of a trade, and you shouldn't be. It's about the process. You got to pay yourself into that target. And personally, I like that fifth candle the best. So now let's count the candles on the entry chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see how I paid myself directly into that on that fifth candle as it's approaching that level? You don't want to ever wait for that candle or that level to perfectly touch. As the price action's coming down, it touches. You don't want to do that. It needs to be into that level. That's what that means, okay? That's really important. So if you waited for that seventh candle there, this bigger red candle, you're playing with fire there, okay? Now, a few minutes ago, I called it acceptable. It is barely acceptable. You're holding too long. You need to pay yourself into that level. Full stop, okay? Targets, man, targets. That's what we need to focus on. You enter and you pay yourself into targets. So on that fifth candle right there, right where my cursor is, if you follow it over, what's your percentage? 10%. Now, it's not a huge trade. You can't expect to make any more than about 10, 15% on that trade when you're trading one contract, when you're working the process. So you made 10% on that clean, very clean trade. So again, if you're in that $6 to $10, $12, $13 range, you did very well on a trade like that. Anymore, if you're making $15, $20, $30 on that trade, you're holding way too long. Do you see where my top sell was on that first movement all the way back down to almost morning lows? That, if you look at that, it has a maximum of 25%. Okay, that's maximum 25%. You cannot hold a one contract position all the way down to morning lows. You're not paying yourself correctly. You understand what I'm getting at? So on that trade, I made a maximum of 25% on it. So if you only had one contract on that and you made that $20, $25, do you see how you held too long? Do you understand how you can trace your entries back and really find the holes in your game? So to kind of, not to wrap this up, but to like surmise this and like get everything in a nice, neat little package, let's go through this again. You enter into that level. Number 2, you already should see a target in place. Your first level of natural support or resistance, where it can hold and bounce and get away from you, that's where you pay yourself. No matter what, it wouldn't matter if it was 5%. It wouldn't matter if it was 4%. Well, if we're starting to get into those low numbers, it's not overly worth taking. But that's beside the point. I don't want to get off track here. I don't want you guys to think too much when you're in this stage of the game, okay? This is how important this stuff is. This is how This right here is a direct representation of why and how it is so difficult for small accounts to grow. Because what people will do is, instead of taking those small gains, trading properly, professionally, concisely, they're looking for too big of a trade. So on this exact trade, off of one contract, if you made more than $10, $12, that's 10, 12%, you're fucking yourself and you will fail. And I hope you guys are listening to my words right now, because I'm not here to lead you guys down the wrong path. I'm here to truly, genuinely teach you guys how to trade in a professional capacity. This is why on each and every one of my trade recaps, you see how I am green. Right here, it's no bullshit. There's no falsehoods here. There's no bullshit here. This is how. Yes, I will have red trades, but red days for me are very difficult. It doesn't happen because I am that's what type of level of discipline I trade with. Okay? And for people that trade with me live in the room, they know this to be true. So if you're out there and you're thinking to yourself, say, yeah, right, another, stop. You have nothing to lose by trying and trusting one more time. Come see it done. And you'll see, holy shit, man, this guy is right. So you have to remember there are levels to this, and there are traders out there that are extremely good at what they do, and they're highly disciplined professional traders. And that's my role, man. This is the one thing in life that I am fucking great at. Not just good, great. And I know that sounds like a lot of ego and blah coming out, but I'm telling you guys the truth. I'm here to help you guys. People ask me the question all the time. It's like, well, why do you do this? If you make so much money trading, why are you doing this? Why wouldn't I want to give people a chance to have freedom and achieve freedom and give their families freedom to not be underneath some asshole's thumb the rest of their lives? Why wouldn't I want to give that to people? I'm in a position to do that. Why wouldn't I do it? So if you're asking that question, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and realize you're fucked up. Because why wouldn't I do that? If I've made my money, if I've achieved my freedom, if I've made millions of dollars and set up my family, why wouldn't I take the time out to do that for you? Why wouldn't I? But if you watch this and rewatch this and you really go through it again and again and again, I'm telling you guys, this video literally is the secret to finding holes in your day trading game. Adios.